In this video, you'll learn how to say not in German. And this is trickier than it sounds because there are two alternatives, nicht and kein, and both of them are very commonly used, but have quite distinct contexts in which they're used. First of all, let's look at why English speakers find this hard. And I think there are two reasons. Firstly, we don't have an alternative word for not like German has. We use not with everything. We can have not plus an adjective like not appealing, or not plus an adverb like not very good, or not plus a verb like does not swim, or not plus a noun, not any chocolate. We use not all the time. However, secondly, we use not with a different word order than that of German. For example, we have present tense helping verbs like do not drink and am not eating. German doesn't have words like do or am in that context, and that affects where the not is going to go. Also, we often obscure the not by contracting it with the helping verb. Look at these examples. Doesn't, don't, isn't, aren't, hasn't, haven't, won't, etc. The not is often there, but we don't realize it, or it's in a different location to where you'd expect it in German. The English speaker who might come closest to a correct German use of not in English is, well, Master Yoda. Size matters not. Notice in that quotation, there's no helping verb like do or am. If there were, it would be different. It would be size does not matter, or size is not mattering. But Yoda, like the Germans, doesn't have those present tense helping verbs and doesn't contract not. So we just put not after the verb there. So after a bit of context, here's the simple explanation, the two German words for not. The first one and the most obvious one is nicht. You use this when you want to say not by itself. For example, nicht schlau, not smart. Or ich spiele nicht, I do not play, I am not playing. Or das ist nicht Anna, that is not Anna. But there's a less obvious word, but equally important, and that's kein. You use this when you want to use a variation of not. For example, ich habe kein Geld, I do not have any money, or I have no money. Or sie hat keine Geschwister, she does not have any siblings, or she has no siblings. Notice you can't say not money or not siblings. It's a variation of not. So we use kein. And a helpful rule to remember this is that kein is used whenever not could be replaced by not any or no. Okay, and for those who are interested, here's the complex explanation. The two German words for not. The first one is nicht, and this is an adverb. That means you can use it to modify a verb or an adjective or another adverb. And this is the normal word for not. So you use this when you have, for example, not plus an adjective or adverb, nicht schlau, not smart, nicht gern, not gladly, or not plus a verb, ich spiele nicht, I don't play, I'm not playing, or raucht nicht, he doesn't smoke, he's not smoking. Or when you want to say not plus a proper noun, or not plus the plus a noun. For example, das ist nicht Anna, that is not Anna. Or not plus the plus a noun, like sie kennt den Film nicht, she doesn't know the film. Notice it's not she doesn't know a film or any film, but she doesn't know the film. And that's when you would use nicht instead of kein. Kein, on the other hand, is not an adverb. It's a pronoun, but I would say used as an adjective most of the time. And it's the word for not before non-proper nouns that don't have the. Let's look at some examples. kein Geld, no or not any money. Kein Glück, no or not any luck. Keine Zeit, no or not any time. Keine Bananen, no or not any bananas. Kein Kuchen, no or not any cake. Remember our helpful rule, kein is used whenever not could be replaced by not any or no. And all of these expressions fulfill that criterion. Notice if you were to say the money or the luck or the time, and you wanted to make that negative and put a not in front of it, then you would use nicht. But we don't have a the, and it's not a proper noun, like in the previous example, that is not Anna, so we have kein, which could be translated no or not any. Now I want to show you one more example and test you to see whether you can figure out what's happening with kein. Ich habe keinen Kuchen. I have no cake, or I don't have any cake. Why has the ending of kein changed to an en? We noticed a similar thing with keine Bananen above that. So the question is, why does kein change its ending? And the answer is it's used as an adjective. And adjectives change ending according to three things: gender, number, and case. And if we look at Kuchen a bit more closely in this sentence, we'll see firstly, its gender is masculine, it's der Kuchen. Hopefully you've learnt that when you've memorized this word. Secondly, its number is singular. There's only one cake. There's not more than one cake, there's only one, or at least one that you don't have. And thirdly, its case is accusative. That means it's the object of the verb haben. It's being acted on by the verb haben. It's not in charge of the verb at all. And that gives it this en ending, which is your classic accusative masculine ending. Let's look at some word order conventions. Where do these words go in a sentence? Firstly, the placement of nicht. Nicht goes usually after the first verb, but before the second one, if there is a second one. So, ich lese in meiner Freizeit nicht. Now, you could also say, ich lese nicht in meiner Freizeit, but notice that the nicht has to go after the lese because it's referring to that. I don't read in my spare time. It's referring to the verb lese, and it's going to go after that verb, but before a final verb if there is one. Second example, ich kann leider nicht jonglieren. Unfortunately, I can't juggle. Again, notice that nicht is after kann, but before the final verb at the end of the sentence. So that's pretty easy. But like English, there's another emphasis that you could have with the word not. Nicht could go before the word it's negating if it's not a verb. Look at these examples. Ich spiele nicht gern Wasserball. I don't like to play water polo. Now in this sentence, the nicht is referring to the gern. You're saying not gladly. And so it goes before that word that it's referring to if it's not a verb. Now let's look at two sentences that have exactly the same words but have different emphasis. Warum willst du mir nicht helfen? And the second one, warum willst du nicht mir helfen? Did you notice the difference in my emphasis? In the first question, the nicht refers to the helping, helfen. And so we just follow the first rule that we learnt above. But in the second question, the nicht refers to the mir. Why don't you want to help me in particular? And so the nicht will go just before the word that it's referring to. What about the placement of kein? Well, there's one major rule, and that is it goes before the noun that it's negating. For example, ich habe kein Bargeld dabei. I don't have any cash on me. The kein refers to the Bargeld, so they just stick together, kein and Bargeld. Or a second example, ich trage normalerweise keine Jeans. I normally don't wear jeans. The keine refers to the jeans and they stick together. However, here are two other cases where kein has actually become more of a pronoun and is separated from the noun that it's referring to. So if kein is used as a pronoun replacing the noun, then it's going to go just where the noun was. Hast du Geld dabei? Do you have money on you? Leider habe ich keins. Unfortunately, I don't have any. So keins has actually replaced Geld in that second sentence. And so it goes just where Geld would go. But sometimes you have the noun and the pronoun kein that goes with it in the same sentence for emphasis. And so kein will go for emphasis at the end of a clause as a pronoun. For example, Geld habe ich keins. Money, I don't have any of that. Zeit habe ich gerade keine. I don't have any time at the moment. Finally, let's look at some worked examples. I don't want any cheese. How are we going to translate that into German? What type of word for not do we want? Well, it's not by itself. It's a variation of not. It's not plus any. And if you could have not plus any or no, like no cheese, we could have that here as well, then we're going to use kein. Ich will keinen Käse. Look at that keinen. It's got an en ending, and that's because Käse, even though it ends in e, is a masculine word, and it's accusative and singular in this sentence. He doesn't drink. Now, not is contracted there with an apostrophe, but is it a variation of not? No, it's actually not. It's just the normal word not with nothing else. You couldn't put not any or no in there, and so we just use nicht. Er trinkt nicht. Notice that the nicht simply goes after the first verb, because that's what it refers to. I'm sure that it wasn't Sophie. Now this time we don't have doesn't, we have wasn't, but the not again is just by itself, isn't it? There's nothing else with it. There's no any, there's no. It's just not by itself. And it goes with the verb was. So we're going to use nicht. Ich bin sicher, dass es nicht Sophie war. I'm sure that it wasn't Sophie. We don't watch any TV during the week. Now we've got another contraction of not in the form of don't. And there's a verb for watching TV in German, which is Fernsehen. It's a separable verb. And if we don't include the any, if we just say we don't watch TV during the week, then we could translate it with nicht. Wir sehen unter der Woche nicht fern. We don't watch TV during the week. But if we want to include the any, there is an alternative way of translating this into German. Germans sometimes use the noun TV, Fernsehen, with a capital F, with a verb for watch or look. And in that case, we do have a variation of not. We have not plus any. And so we'd say, wir schauen or gucken unter der Woche kein Fernsehen. Finally, that's not the best idea. Is this a variation of not? No, it's just the word not by itself, and it goes with the verb, that's it. So we say, das ist nicht die beste Idee. And with this one, notice that not is going with a the. And we looked at how if not goes with the, which is the definite article, so the instead of a, then we always have nicht.